Hello guys, welcome back to Train Sim TV, and in today's video we are back on Train Simulator 2020 and we are going to be doing a Cumbrian Coast developer diary. We're on number 4 on the series now, and I can't believe it's been a month since we did our last video. It's flown by. We've done quite a lot since the last developer diary. We've done quite a few streams with the route as well over the last month or so, since our last video, ploughing in the progression on the route. We are actually now fully finished with the revamp of the existing scenery. We're now working on new scenery towards Millom as well from Green Road. So what we'll do is we're going to show you everything we've done up to Green Road in terms of obviously swapping everything out, putting new stuff in where needed, and we'll show you some of the new scenery as well. So obviously the line side revamp, as you will probably know, is the case of getting rid of 3D trees that are miles away from the track not needed, swapping them for 2Ds, and then obviously swapping all the line side stuff over to like using the VP grass, VP trees, and other bits of TSA stuff mixed in there on the foliage. So anything from here on was we started at Kirkby Furnace heading north. If you want to see anything south of Kirkby Furnace, you can catch up on that within Developer Diaries 1 to 3. Those are in the playlist as well, so you can skim through them as well to see the progression that started off from Barrow up to where we are now. So we're going to get straight on with this. We're going to get straight through it. We're not going to make it as long as we usually do because what we'll do is we're going to be doing some more streams as well with, well, I say doing some small streams. Myself, I'm not doing as many streams at the minute. Mark's going to be taking over for a few weeks soon, but we will be doing route building in between, so there'll be still progression even though it's not getting streamed. Basically, let's get ourselves into it. Let's go and have a look. So we sort of left with this curve on our last video, so all that was obviously done, and then moving on was we went that way after the video. So what you will see is the terrain paint hasn't been done. That is the only job to do, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a full sweep of that once the scenery is finished up to Millom and just do it all in one big hit, as it's one of my most hated jobs in route building. So as we cross over the estuary there, head towards Foxfield in this direction, so there's the farm crossing over here as well. I'm not quite sure what the this area of farm or whatever it is. I'm sure someone will know. I actually haven't got my rail atlas out with me for this video, unfortunately. I usually do on that, but unfortunately not this time around. This section was a bit of a nightmare to do while streaming as well. It was a case of I managed to do a big section of this and then it dumped and I hadn't saved, so it was a bit of my fault at the same time on that, annoying as it is. On the occasion of this stream it actually dumped about 3 times, but in the end we managed to keep saving every few sections and we managed to get there in the end. It was just Train Sim having a little bit of a wobbly. So moving on, we are getting into the site of Foxfield. So again, as you see, the grass has been done here and all that. Slight little bit actually. Yeah, I've noticed that I haven't actually put some of the actual TSA stuff in this section here, so that will be done. I thought I'd done that actually. Possibly might have been in the section when I actually might have a dump in the sim on the stream. I've just not gone over and replaced it, but that'll get sorted. 5 second, well, 5 second, but 5 minute job. Right, so moving on. You will hear tones of a pacer. So we're just in the free roam at the minute. They've just been plonked in when I've been doing screenshots. The other thing is obviously the aim of reducing asset count once again. And on this tile alone, I think we started off with about 1,200 assets on this tile. I think we managed to get it down to about 700, I think it was. Just double check. There was a lot of 3D trees on this hill. Or maybe it was like 2,000. No, it might be about 2,000 actually. I mean, I got it down to 1,300. It was something like that. I managed to shave about 700 off it, which I was quite pleased with. And the FPS is a lot better now. I'm just going to click play again. So I'm just going to pause that for a second because it's really noisy with the road. I plonked a temporary sort of signal box in here for now. This will change at some point in the development of the route. Probably will say like this for version 1 until we start getting to the stage where we can get the assets done. Research and stuff like that. Obviously, at the moment, it's still locked down and stuff like that, so it's not as advisable to start going to loads of stations and stuff for research material, where we have to get loads of pictures of bits and pieces. So we're sort of hanging back at the minute on that. But obviously, once restrictions ease and some form of normality does come in, we will make the effort to go to the stations and get research for the key bits and pieces we feel that are needed for the route, such as obviously signal boxes and station stuff. Odd little bits maybe on the way. This is Foxfield. I think the other one is I'm hoping possibly to get the actual brewery as a... So noisy that is, as a custom. Moving on, we leave the this section here and curve to the left, heading towards the Duddon estuary. Again, looks really bare at the minute. Once the terrain paint goes in and other little bits, there might be some bits more grass and stuff dotted about on this estuary side and stuff. Again, these little bits here. But other than that, as you can see, all the 2Ds are now in place, rather than there's loads of 3Ds over there at one point. It was just absolutely stupid. God knows what I was thinking when I did it, to be quite honest. So as we round back round the curve here, head towards Green Road. So Green Road was the section where the scenery actually did end, and there was nothing progressed further than there. I mean, when I actually started doing the route, I did it in such a strange order. I started at Green Road rather than Barrow and worked back to Barrow. But obviously when I've come back to start doing the revamp and kickstarting the route again to get it going, we started from Barrow and worked through and progressed in the actual order we needed to do it. So it's gone a bit the wrong way around of doing things, but we are there. It's quite a well built up area in terms of foliage. It's quite an overgrown section of route, this. Just slowly progressing through it, just so you get to take it all in and see what's been done. Not much actually really needed to be done here, apart from taking up the line side grass and putting a few VP bushes down. This section's not got a lot of 3D trees really around it, as everything's quite far away, so it didn't need to be done in that sort of way. The 3D trees do start popping up once again in the moment here. This is coming to Green Road Station. So this is where the revamp ended, at the end of the station here. One of my, currently, until we progress further with the route, is my favourite view on this route. I'm just looking obviously down the line there towards all the hills and on the lakes. Really is my favourite one, and I've used this station a few times to pick up when the 37s were running for Northern. Me and Mark, we've started here a couple of times, and Kirby and Furnace as well we've done. So it's nice to photograph it here as well in real life, and of course in the sim you get some nice screenshots as well at certain points of angles and when the light is at the right point, like you see there. Obviously the sun's on, it's over that side a minute, but you get the sort of shot there as it's coming around. Later in the afternoon you get a decent shot on this side, the sun's on this side. So, Green Road Station. The actual station itself hasn't changed or anything. It's I'm fairly happy with the station here. Represents quite well. I don't even think really we'd need much in terms of any custom asset really, apart from some signs, as it's fairly well represented in the assets we've used, to be honest. But yeah, I think there's a big wooden sign on this side here, which would be nice to be put in. Then obviously the normal station bits. Other than that, it's more or less there. So moving on, we are on the new section. As I say, it's not going to be a long video. This I might do a little bit at the end just to show you what I'm doing and put a little bit of scenery in just on the in terms of on the video. But it's just basically a quick roundup of what's been going on rather than making it a big massive hour-long video. It's just a quick, again, catch up. So moving on, We have, obviously we lose the terrain paint on the actual trap bed there. As you can see, I've not actually placed it in. So the first stage was, once we did the revamp, to put all the bushes in. So what I do is first I mark out all the area. I do that with lofts, which are for the bushes, or the hedges if you will. So this marks out all the area. So we go to so far. Actually this side is really easy because that's all the estuary, so it's all virtually like sand and that there really. There's not actually any fields apart from where that line is marked out. So it's really easy on this side of the route. It's this side where it's obviously a bit more because there's a lot more fields, there's a lot more buildings, and we have a hill to contend with, so we need to make sure that this hill area has enough scenery so that when you're on the track you get enough scenery to see from the line. So you can see there it's virtually covered. We need a little bit more just to cover the tops, but we won't go much further than there because you're not going to see anything behind here, so that it's pointless putting anything there. So I have a sort of rough estimate guideline where we'll put this road. I think there's a main road that comes in off here, so the main road will come in and then that'll be the next borderline, which comes down here I think, and it goes into Millom, which is there. I think the station's sort of here. There's a bridge that goes over here, and then we've got the little sidings area there. The aim in the plan is to do scenery to probably somewhere around this curve, just so there's enough scenery that you don't look at Millom Station to a blank section. There'll be enough there to cover for version 1. So really, as you can see, everything's marked up to mainly here. There's a bit of road work up there, but I need to get the main street in and everything. I need to map it out properly before I do anything there. So I'm going to get everything up to here first, and then I'm going to work on Millom after. So this is my next section boundary to work to, and we're probably about halfway nearly there, really. We actually probably are halfway in terms of nearer detail, but trying to put as much detail as possible, like line side, so you've got all the gates and stuff like that. There'll be street signage. Crossings will have, obviously, as you can see, the crossings are all done. Other bits and pieces such as telegraph poles get put in on this route. I like to put the detail in with that. As it gives it another proper feel to it for the area. Scenes like up here, this hasn't quite finished yet. There's a bit of garden work to do on that. There is also this place, so we've done here. So I've gone not mega OTT, but there'll be a bit more to put in, a few flower beds and stuff, but it's got the main detail here. So there's an allotment here, there's a few barns and bits and pieces. There's even this, it's meant to be greenhouse, but we haven't got greenhouse unfortunately, so I had to use this I can't remember what they call them, polytunnels I think they call them. So they're in, but it's a good enough close representation for it. I've got the cab ride as well, so we're getting it as close as possible. What we see on the track in the cab ride, we'll try and get it on the track side. I haven't finished this bit. There's meant to be another hedge that goes down the side of this road yet, which runs down here, and there's a couple of houses to put in here as well to sort of finish this section up. But yeah, all in all, it is coming along. As you can see, progression is being made now, which is a good thing. We're not working on existing stuff, we're now working on the new stuff finally. And I mean, it's taken since probably around the January-February mark really to get to this stage. Obviously the revamp, if you think about we're on 4 episodes now, so that's 4 months. So about February time really, I would say, when I started working back on the route. So I've got a lot more time to work on this route now as well, because Northern Lines version 2 Bernays extension came out about a week ago, so that takes a bit of strain in terms of like the route build workload, so it gives me more time to focus onto this. Lewis is obviously, he's working on the Harrogate extension, so other than like mainly scenarios with that now, because that's nearly come to its end on scenery for version 2. It's getting to the stage of scenarios as well, so we'll be covering that as well on another video very soon, to show what's been done since 2. So yeah, it is progressing nicely. So what we'll do, get the editor on, and that's a little area to work on. So first thing what I do when I get to a new section, I'll put the trees in, mainly because it makes it look like I've done loads of work as well, and it actually starts giving you a bit more of a feel for the route as well when you get the tree lines in. So I use rows of trees rather than... I have to do a bit of single placement here and there, but I try not to do tons of it because it's putting more and more separate assets in. Whereas you get in a row, it's not as bad. Sort of like areas like that where you see one. So we'll put the house in here as well. So we use a lot of like Trent Valley houses as they have a nice feel to the area. If we can find the right ones. I tend to use these ones a lot around here because it gives you the feel of like I don't know, it'll give you like a stonish, a stone feel. Not stone. This one's not stone, but it's like rendered. It gives you the sort of look for the area that you use. They do have a lot of stone houses as well in this area. But some of the shapes of the houses that come in Trent Valley cover it really nicely. There's stuff like that as well. There's a lot of nice types of houses. And plus we have the low poly ones as well, which are really nice to use at far distance, so they're not killing the frames as much. So we have a couple of like barns here, so I'm going to put... try and find the right shape at least. Nope, definitely not that. We'll go with something like that, so we'll put that in there. And back here, we will use... definitely not that. I'll probably go with something like that actually, because it's a bit so... I don't know. See what it looks like. Yeah, go with something like that to be honest. Gives the right sort of feel for it. So there's a few single placement trees to put in here as well, so I'll put different ones in there just to vary them up. But it's in terms of route building, it's probably one of the easier routes I've had to do for quite a while, which is nice. I mean, I'm working on near Wash Valley for just trains, and that's a different kettle of fish because there's a lot of hills and stuff to contend with, and the valleys and stuff on there. So it takes a bit more time to do as well. But obviously, keeping to the commercial time scales as well, you've got to try and keep the detail, but obviously work faster. But when I'm doing this, I can sit back a little bit and just take my time with it and just put a little bit extra into it, just to give it that feel. See here. So I need to put a few more lofts in here as well. So actually, as well, what I'll do is I'll do a couple of them as well, just show you what I do. I mean, I'm not going to go right to town with all this in a video. It will just bore you. I'm just going to. It's just a little section just to show you some of the stuff that we do. Obviously, in the process of building the Cumbrian coast. Mark's route building series as well. Obviously, that's a more of a full-on route build approach. So this is just a little bit of an extra at the end, really, just on top of what we do and what we have done. So for the field, what I do is I use these JT bush siding lofts. And they look really good from a distance as well. They stay in view for a very long time. Some lofts can disappear after so long, which are quite annoying sometimes. So I'll just sort of follow the lines of these marked out areas. A little bit of a gap, that's where sort of fields join in. So there's another little bit here as well. Try and attach that to there. It don't want to go on. There we go. Just join it up there like so. So the next thing is, obviously at the minute some sections might be sticking in the air like here. So what we do, click the gradient tool and then just put the arrows in and then press L and then click and then press L, and what it does, it'll snap it to the ground rather than you having to do that. There we go. So just double check everything we've placed is sitting nicely on top of the grade, like the terrain and stuff. You are bound to probably have a few little areas that you might miss, but if you can get the majority of it down, it's jobs are good. And so you do sometimes miss bits. I think we've covered that there. And there's another one to put here. doesn't have to be perfect either, as long as it's in the same sort. It starts and ends at the right place. If you're slightly off, it doesn't matter. I don't think you're going to have anyone scrutinise you that field is very, very, very slightly out of line, or it's not in the exact perfect line. As long as you marking it in a sort of rough area, you're fine. You could be there if you are like that. You could be there forever getting it right and perfect and exactly in line. At the end of the day, you do want to get your project out eventually. So they don't want to go down. Sometimes they're a little bit iffy, so you have to sometimes start again. So there we go, it's now highlighting. There we go. Alright, so there's another little bit there. It looks a little bit in the... No, it's alright, actually it's not snapping, so it's done. Right, so I'll just double check there's nothing in this section, which there is. So we need to put these ones in as well. So you see there, it's really flying in the air because obviously you've started off, you're going up an embankment, or shall I say hill, not an embankment really. So you're going up the side of a hill, so it's going to fly up into the air at some stage, sometime. You just go back over like so, like that. So we're getting to the stage where these are going behind the hill, so we don't actually need to go much further. But what we'll do is we'll do this one up to the road. We don't really need to go much further down that way because it's getting hidden. Right, so that's there. Sometimes you get these done, they're actually more or less perfect as well, they don't actually need snapping. You can be quite lucky sometimes, but if not, it just takes you a little bit longer just to get them how they need to be. We'll get this one in. And then sometimes you can get them where they're really, really not anywhere near the actual terrain mesh. But it doesn't take long to get them right. So we'll get this one down here as well. There's two of them here. Nope. Right, and the last one I think this is. Right, so this looks like a little farm access track to get to the fields. Right, that's looking good. I don't think there's anything in that middle one. No, it's one big field. So that's good. I've got a little bit on that hillside to do there because there's not many trees going to be covering that, so we'll be covering that with the loft at some point. I'm not going to go into that too much on this video. The last thing, what we do of course is obviously we do the grass. So I've got a section of grass done here. So again, we'll just do a small section just to show you guys. So we do the VP grass, to anyone that's new. So we do it on the irregular asset block. So what we do is we mark out a section. Hopefully we should be able to do a full block here. It might glitch, but we can just remove it and put it back in. I use VP grass medium and then medium 2. I've just gone past. That one there, and then I put an extra 2 zeros on there, which makes it look like so. So what we'll do is we check to make sure it's not disappearing, which it doesn't seem to be doing, which is an absolute bonus. I'll just put the next section on, which is here. So we've got another section going up, and that goes up to this other little farm access crossing as well. So VP grass medium, and then we go to medium 2 once again, like so, and then add 2 zeros onto that, and it adds in. And just double check that your grass doesn't disappear. Sometimes you do big sections, it'll go like so. See what happens here is, if we click copy and paste first, put it to the right sort of place, get rid of the other one, we drag that one over, it should, he says, there we go, it fixes that issue. Give that a save. So in a nutshell, we've given you a bit of an insight on what goes on in the process. We've shown you the trees, we've shown you how we do our marking out fields, a bit of VP grass placement, and a few houses. Well, a house and some barns. This is the process that goes along the route. On the distant stuff, obviously more line size stuff, we get a lot more detail going close up, putting loads of bush and stuff, so I have to go over my camera, so there's not really, I can't really do that on here unfortunately, because otherwise I'm going to have loads of screens popping up, which just isn't doable. But it gives you a little look obviously of what goes into the process of our route development stages, and of course you've seen the development process obviously get further up the route, so which is good to see. I mean, we are getting to a good stage now. Obviously, we're getting towards that finishing line for version 1. Just needs a little bit more of a push, but we will be there very soon, hopefully. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you haven't already caught any of the other previous videos, if you only just found obviously the route, do have a look at episodes 1 to 3 as well on this playlist. And you'll find out everything and what the route looks like. Some of the videos also do have drives on them as well, so we actually do drive from one end of the route from Green Road up to Barrow, and the other way as well. So thank you ever so much, guys, for joining us on this one. We will be back with another developer diary in about a month's time, depending on how well it'll happen. Sometimes we don't have as much work done, we have sometimes more. This one it's really done well since the last one. So yeah, we'll be back in another 4 weeks or so with with episode 5. Thanks again, guys. Hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget you can like, share, subscribe. Any feedback and stuff as well, we'd like to hear. We do love hearing from people that live in this sort of area as well. We'd like to hear your stories and stuff about the area and any of your adventures around the area. Don't forget you can catch us on Twitch at Trainsim TV. You'll catch the description link in there for that. Mark's going to be taking over from coming very, very soon. Mark's going to be doing some streaming on my behalf starting from the 27th, so next Saturday coming after this video goes live in June, and that'll be for a few weeks as we're expecting baby number 2 to be coming very, very much in that sort of time, early July to mid-July. So I say Mark's going to be taking over on that. I'll still be doing a few videos in between here and there as and when I can, but Mark's going to be holding the fort for a little while, whilst I'm having a little bit of downtime. Have a good one, guys. Thank you ever so much for joining as always. I've been Tom, it's been Trainsim TV, and this has been the Cumbrian Coast Developer Diary number 4. Stay safe, guys, and we'll see you very soon.